This is Leah with Backyard Homestead in Starkville, Mississippi, and our quail hutch. This is our quail area, and we have one quail hutch still over here, and then the one we had here right beside it we moved this morning. The city came in and redid the sewer line in this area, and they left us a great big hump of dirt. Well, now it's 3 years later, and they're supposed to be coming back to remove this hump of dirt and help grade and smooth out this area. So we're having to move the quail hutches for right now. So we still have this quail hutch, and it has 15 quail in it. There are 12 females and 3 males in this one. And then the other one that was right beside here, we have moved. You can slowly. This is our catfish pond with our impatiens and the filters. We moved the other hutch on the other side of the pond. And this hutch, we had quail, had adult quail in here that had been laying our eggs for us. And we harvested the quail in this hutch this morning. We got 27 quail, and we got 7.71 pounds of meat. I'll show that in a minute. But now these are the new quail that we hatched out in the incubator. And this is the tub. I'll try to show them in there. This is the tub. There they are. We're moving them out to their new place this morning. But this is the tub we used to raise them in. This acts as our brooder. We put a heat lamp in this, and it's our brooder. But now we're moving these guys outdoors into this hutch. These quail they hatched on May 16th. They started hatching on May 16th. So these are 10 days old. Yeah, and we've got them different. These are 20 days old, some of them are. They started hatching on May 16th, and then we kept putting eggs in the incubator. So we have some that are 20 days old on down to some that are 10 days old. And they range in between there. But these we're about to move into this hutch. And this is their new outdoor hutch area. We keep a tub with peat moss, or sometimes even just dirt when it's dry, scraped in for them to take little dust baths in. We've got their food set up and their waterers. So we're about to put them in. This will be the first time they've been outdoors. So I'll come back and show you after we get them all in. All right, we've got all the little guys in, and there are 53 quail in this outdoor area. So 53 quail in this coop. And they are exploring their new house. Pretty fun. So 53 birds in this coop. 53 birds in this coop when they're this size is fine, but as they get bigger, we found that the ideal number for these when they're adult size is 30 to 33. So when they start getting bigger, we'll either release some of them or we'll move half over to the other hutch. But when they're this size, this number's fine. Interested in our blackberries. I am coming over to do a harvest on these blackberries. This is the first time I've picked them. I've picked off a few because of being bird pecked and giving them to the girls. They really enjoy that. But these blackberries are huge. That one may be a little past its prime. But I am harvesting blackberries for the first time, other than just coming and picking 1 or 2 to eat. That one's not real pretty. I'm going to give it to the girls. Woohoo! The fight is on. Alright, so I'm about to harvest all these blackberries. Oh, there's a real pretty one. And then I will come back and show you what we got. And these are our thornless blackberries. I think these are right, but I have a bunch that are still hanging red. And the bunch that are almost there. So I'll just come out and monitor these every day and just pick them as they get ready. Oh, here's some more. These things are huge and they're ginormous. Look at the size of that thing. I was thinking I might make a cobbler tonight, but I think we'll just eat these fresh. Just sit and eat them for the first picking. Maybe a cobbler later, but these are beautiful. Beautiful and huge. Alright, I think I got all the good and the ripe and the ready off of these. needs a little longer. So I'm going to go around front to the trellis that we made and see how those are doing in comparison to these. Right, this is our trellis that we built and planted the blackberries on, and it doesn't seem to be as far along as the others. Lots of them hanging, but most of them are red. These are starting to turn, but they're not good and black yet. So I think it'll be a couple more days on these. Yeah, lots of red, but not quite ready. So I guess I'm gonna call that good on our blackberry harvest for today, but not too bad. This is what we got, and I'll weigh them in a second. Now I'm gonna go through and pick some squash. And I haven't found another vine borer since the last video, so hopefully that stays up. Hopefully that keeps going, because I would love it if they were all just dead. I'm sure that's not the case, but it would make my day if I never saw another one. The squash are still looking healthy. They're not suffering in the heat. Well, when it gets really, really hot in the middle of the day, they kind of wilt, but it's more like a defense mechanism. But, I mean, they're still healthy and pretty. So I'm going to pick squash. That was another big, pretty one I saw yesterday. I wanted to get today, but I haven't found him yet. But I'll come back and show you what I got off of these. Here's one. Oh, he may have gone a little too long. We'll eat him. Yeah, he's a little past his prime, but we'll still eat him. All right, I'll come back and show you after I'm finished picking. All right, getting ready to pick green beans for the first time, and this is our double row of green beans with contender on this side and blue lake on this side, and we planted them at the same time, but the blue lake are starting to bloom, but the contender have been blooming, and there are beans ready to pick. Not a lot yet, but I just want to go ahead and pick some to let the plants know they need to go ahead and keep making. So picking us our first little mess of green beans today. Show you, there's a good big back. Here's the little nest of them I saw. Maybe you want to get out here and pick them. Some of them big, nice size. So the contender are definitely making before the blue lake. So they made earlier. They started blooming earlier. They made beans earlier, and we're harvesting for the first time. Earlier on these than on the blue lake. All right, well, I'm going to turn this off and pick all these green beans, and then I'll come back and show you what I got. And I'm not picking many of these. I'm leaving them because we'll have a really good harvest here in a few days. So if they're medium sized like those and like these, I'm leaving them, and I'm just picking the ones that are a little bit bigger. So I'm not going to have a huge harvest today at all. I just want to get these bigger ones off before they get too big. So we just got a tiny little mess of green beans today for the first time, but they look like they're going to be really ready to pick maybe in about 4 or 5 days. So I'll do another picking pretty soon, but this will be enough for a taste of good fresh green beans. And the last thing I'm going to pick today is some peppers. And these are the mammoth jalapeno that we bought plants at the co-op because we can't find seed for them. I'll pick them. There's only a couple ready. And then these are the cubanelles that we started from seed, and they look great. They're really pretty. So I'll pick a few of these. There's one big nice one, and we'll let him grow a little bit more. Several nice ones on here. Cubanelles. And our emerald giant bells are starting to put on peppers. Way too small to pick, but it's cool to see them making. There's another one. And these small. Not a whole lot of peppers making yet, but some of them are really nice. And I'm going to finish picking these cubanelles. I'll come back and show you what I got. And these are the peppers we got. 2 jalapeno and 5 cubanelles and some green beans. So not a massive harvest today, but definitely starting to come in. Okay, so for the straight neck yellow squash, we got 2.58 pounds of squash. Got 0.4 pounds of the thornless blackberries. 0.4. 0.38 pounds of cubanelle peppers. 0.08 pounds of mammoth jalapenos. 0.55 pounds of the contender bush green beans. 0.55 pounds. Okay, and this is a row of our candy onions, or a patch of them, and that raised bed has candy onions. Well, this row also had candy onions, but we harvested them earlier in the week, may have been Saturday or Sunday, and then immediately went back and replanted pink eye purple hull peas. So the next thing I'm going to show you is the weigh-in of our onions that we got earlier in the week, and got a nice harvest of them. These are going to be a lot bigger because we spaced them further apart. These we're going to harvest soon, and some of them may be a little bit bigger. So the onions we harvested out of this row, this is the row we planted last, and we just shoved in all the rest of them that we had. You know, we ordered, I told in an earlier video, we ordered 200 onions, and we got over 1,000. So this is the row where we just stuck all of them in that we could. So they were a little smaller, but they taste wonderful, and we're eating them. So that's what I'm going to show next. And these are the onions we got. We got 15.2 pounds of candy onions. And I mean, some of them are big and nice. They're just not like, you know, like huge like store-bought onions, but they're plenty fine for eating. And they taste wonderful, and we are enjoying these. Hoping for some bigger ones on the road where we spaced them a little bit further apart, but these are beautiful. And I am going to go through, I'm going to hold out some of the larger ones to cook with immediately, but the others I'm just going to go ahead and dice and put in freezer bags and put in the freezer just to pull out and use. So 15.2 pounds of candy onions. And we also harvested the garlic the other day, and we got 6.45 pounds of garlic. And we also harvested the Red Russian Kale that was growing right down here in the middle beside the candy onions. And I forgot to do a video about that at all, but I've got it for the weigh-in too. Alright, so things we've harvested this week. We harvested 15.2 pounds of candy onions, 2.58 pounds of squash, 0.4 pounds of blackberries, 0.38 pounds of cubanelle peppers, 0.08 pounds of jalapeno peppers, 0.55 pounds of contender green beans, 6.46 pounds of garlic, 32 eggs for a total of 3.54 pounds of chicken eggs, 7.92 pounds of Red Russian Kale, and 94 quail eggs. We don't weigh in the quail eggs because what I do with those is we gather them and I boil them and I mince them up, chop them up fine, and feed them to the chickens to give the chickens some protein. And so we don't count it in our harvest weight for the year because we don't actually eat those. I forgot to add this onto the harvest table. We did harvest quail this morning, and we harvested 27 quail, and it came out to 7.71 pounds, which is 0.29 pound per bird, so that's pretty good. And just forgot to tack this on, so I wanted to add it to our harvest video, but 7.71 pounds of quail. Thanks for watching.